you want pie, do you? Well, I've got a pie for you. We are going to make roasted meat pie. You heard it, roasted meat pie. Not just boiled meat pie, roasted. Extra flavour, extra texture, and extra smiles. Come on!
This pie is packed full of roasted succulent game birds to give you a special something this weekend.
We have a chicken over here, but then we have mallard, we have pheasant, we have a beautiful grouse, we have partridge. The list goes on and on that you could use, but mix it up.
We're going to dress them with olive oil, seasoning and crushed juniper berries before bashing up some thyme, rosemary and bay leaves for an aromatic herby hit.
Beautiful natural colours and flavours.
Then it's an hour in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius or 350 Fahrenheit.
So while those birds roast away in the oven, let's start the story with the ragu. We're going to start off with some gorgeous smoked, dry-cured bacon. The flavour that you get, the smoke, the fat that will render out. A couple of bay leaves go in, maybe a little sprig of rosemary, and then we can start adding the veg.
This is a classic ragu base of juicy carrots, sweet red onions, leeks and celery.
You know, it's this frying and the breaking down of all the natural sugars. That's where the massive flavour is. That's where you're going to put something in your mouth and go, wow.
Once the veggies have softened, add some chunky potatoes and season. Oh yes.
Because the birds are going to be roasting for like another 45 minutes, let's let that slowly sweat off for 45 minutes. Oh my Lord, the flavour you will get by just slowing it down is amazing.
And it'll be so worth the wait.
What a beautiful, beautiful sight. Literally, just pull the whole thing apart. What you're going to feel is the difference in texture. For the people that have never eaten game before, this is your opportunity, guys, because you can have your chicken and just a few bits of game. And then if you like it, add a little bit more next time and a bit more next time. The grouse. And now we're on to the pheasant. Normally, if you're getting game birds in season, it's very reasonable.
All these bones will make a brilliant stock for another day.
There's just flavour and value everywhere. Don't throw nothing away. 2 tablespoons of plain flour go in. That's your thickening agent. And then in with about 500 millilitres of cider. Cheers to that.
Give it a stir and boost its flavour even more with good chicken stock and those incredible roasting juices from the tray.
Maximum flavour.
And all that delicious meat.
And that, my friends, is going to be the most mega stew ever.
So we'll strain it before it goes in to give you the perfect pie consistency, and then we've got loads of gravy for pouring later.
Pastry time! We're going to go half butter, half suet. To that, we're going to add 800 grams of plain flour, a good pinch of salt, 3 lovely eggs, and then find that fat and just use your thumbs to mix it in.
A splash of water and the whole thing should start to come together.
It's going to look a bit rough and ready. That's fine. You want to keep it short. If you keep kneading it, it won't be crumbly. Right, can you see there's still chunks of suet in here? I'm going to wrap this up and I'm going to let that cool down and then we'll fill it.
And be patient, it's the weekend. Chilling it will stop your pastry shrinking during cooking and make it easier to roll.
Let's make this pie. I want to go about ½ a centimetre thick, then roll it back up. Olive oil into a dish, get right up the sides. We get our filling. What's nice about it chilling again is the gravy kind of solidifies. So you want to just chivvy in this edge, this rim, like that. Just tuck it under like this. What I want to do is put my thumb in here and pinch around it. You know, you can get all kinds of cutters, you can get leaves, you can do plaits, you can do shapes, all sorts. But to be honest, at the weekend, I've put enough love into it. Just use 2 fingers and a thumb and you'd be amazed what you can achieve. And a beautiful roasted meat pie has been born. Happy days. Just egg wash the centre part. And I do want to just create a little star to relieve the steam, and look at that. It's going to be amazing.
After an hour in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius or 350 Fahrenheit, your wonderful weekend feast will emerge.
Look, you can see how crispy that pastry is going to be. Wow. Oh, guys, look at that, look at the flake. Look at the thickness of that pastry there. You know that people are going to fight for that. There's never enough pastry, is there? But we got it bottom, side and top, and a big old handle, a love handle, which you'll definitely get if you keep eating too much pie. But for this weekend, only yes! Just hit it up with some seasonal greens. Oh. It is nuts. I am so excited to give you a recipe for an amazing homemade pie. Beautiful crumbly pastry, chicken, sweet leeks, creamy sauce. This is gonna be amazing. It starts here with a chicken. So a nice free-range chicken. What I wanna do first is cut it in half. Just hold the chicken, get the tip cut down the back, and then down the breast. So in a pan, we'll have just a tiny bit of oil. So chicken goes into the pan. I'm using the whole chicken. You get maximum flavour from the bones and the bone marrow, but also the joy of white meat, brown meat, and the sweet meat is incredible. So we've got a second pan on a medium heat, and what I want to do is start frying off a beautiful base to give you the best pie filling ever. For that, I'm going to start with some smoky bacon. Just cut ourselves some little lardons. So into the pan we go, add a little oil, and that is an incredible welcoming party for vegetables and herbs. So we'll start off with thyme, to rip that in, and then base vegetables. 1 heart of celery, 1 onion, 1 carrot, and 1 leek. Roughly sliced into sort of 1.5 centimetre dice. Into the pan. I don't want the veg so small that it's going to disappear. I want to have chunks of veggies. So about 10-15 minutes of gentle frying. So that gives us time to clean down and make the pastry. Add 500 grams of plain flour to a bowl, a pinch of sea salt, and 250 grams of very cold butter. So by grating the butter like that, it just makes it so easy to rub into the flour. Pour in 100 millilitres of cold water and bring it together. And kind of hug it. No kneading, just hugging. That's what we want. And I'm gonna just form it into 2 balls. Divide so it's 1/3 for the lid and 2/3 for the base. Wrap them up and flatten out and leave to chill in the fridge until needed. If you look in here now, we have a nice bit of colour. That means we've got mega flavour already. I want to turn this into a beautiful sauce to stew that chicken, right? To pull out all that flavour. I'm going to use scrumpy, beautiful cloudy cider. Just a nice little swig goes in. The smell is phenomenal. And we want to cook all of that cider away. Go in with a heaped teaspoon of English mustard, 2 heaped tablespoons of plain flour, a litre of chicken stock, and bring to a simmer. At this point in the story, we've created that stewing environment, and we're taking that lovely, crispy golden chicken, and those bones are straight down into that sauce. So lid on top, and just let it blip away for around about an hour until the thigh meat pulls off the bone, and that will be incredible. This fat in the pan, by the way, I'm going to keep that for a little secret later. So the chicken is done. If I just pull the thigh meat, and it should just fall off the bone. That's what we want. Super tender, super delicious, happy days. Oh. So, meat into here. I have been slicing up 500 grams of button mushrooms. By putting the mushrooms in at this stage, you get really sweet, nutty mushroom flavour. Stir that through. Okay, so now 2 forks and just pull that tender meat from the bone. At this point, the bones have done their job. They've given you awesome flavour. Carefully remove all the bones, add the chunks of chicken back to the stew, and mix through 2 tablespoons of creme fraiche. So I want this stew to do 2 things. Give me amazing, perfect filling, and then also an incredible sauce. And we can have both by one easy little trick that I love. Get yourself a pan, get yourself a colander, and sieve that filling. The sauce will go through it, and you can reheat that later to pour on top of your pie. Put that to one side, and now we can make our pie. So we'll get our pastry out of the fridge, and we'll roll this out so it's gonna line this beautiful pie dish. What I will do is just give a little bit of olive oil
to the bottom of the dish and give it a rub. Put your chilled pastry in between a sheet of greaseproof paper and roll it till it's half a centimetre thick. Add to the pie dish, pour in the cooled filling and roll out your pie lid. I don't care if it cracks. I embrace it. Look, I'm gonna tear it. Oh no, there's a crack. It doesn't matter. We're gonna just tear it up and put it in just like that. And as we take in the sides, we're gonna create just a beautiful rustic pie. So just a little egg wash. So I'm gonna cook that now for about an hour, put it at the bottom of the oven. The temperature will be 190 degrees Celsius, which is 375 Fahrenheit, and that will be a thing of beauty. So that glorious pie is nearly done. And I've just knocked up a bit of mashed potato. You guys know how to do that, but what you might not know how to do is make cabbage beautiful. We're gonna do something quick and delicious and amazing. Roughly slice up the cabbage and add to the chicken fat you saved earlier. Cook over a high heat until softened and lightly charred. Add a splash of water, a teaspoon of mustard, and a pinch of salt and white pepper. These three things bring out the most wonderful flavour. Just takes your everyday cabbage to another place. So cabbage is done. Our gravy is bubbling away and reheating nicely. And then, yes, that, my friends, is what I wanted. Look at that. Bubbling, blipping, look. Just so, so good. The hispy cabbage that is soft and succulent, but it's got the char. Good old mashed potato, always a good friend of a pie. Then we'll get a gravy boat. This poured over the top of your pie will be a joyful thing. Oh, look how flaky that pastry is. I'm very excited. Come on. Look at that, we've got the chunks of chicken, the flaky pastry. That is a slice of heaven. Let's have a dunk mash, some of that amazing cabbage done good, and then gravy. Let's get in there. Hallelujah. You know, using the whole chicken gives you the hyper flavour. Everyone deserves to enjoy a good homemade pie. Guys, what are you waiting for?